emerging adulthood, and what do you think the depression might then lead us to? I think you might be onto something. I think you might be onto something, Mike, that bullying might lead to you bullying people as an adult, right? That it may very well lead to that. Particularly if you were like, let's face it, particularly if you were like the small, scrawny kid that everybody bullied, and then by the time you're an emerging adult, you're no longer the scrawny kid, you're like the big guy who like took some steroids and lifted weights. So maybe that, right, maybe your recourse is to lash out by bullying other people. But there's another possibility, from bullying to depression to, I think we've got a paper that we're doing at one of these conferences on this.
Suicide.
How about suicidal ideation? The book talks a lot about suicidal ideation as feelings, emotions that compel us to want to kill ourselves, right? Sort of a notable desire to want to end one's own life. Sort of focusing on suicide, thinking about suicide, fantasizing about suicide. What would it be like to kill myself? Should I kill myself? All of these things may be linked in this order, starting from the early age into later adulthood. Now I want you guys to think this way, because this is again what's happening in the book. How do we analyze this? How do we research this? How do we as social scientists, how do we as public health experts actually engage in the type of research that's going to help us think about this trajectory? What do we need? How do we study this? What if I'm interested in this process through the life course, whereby a social bullying, right? The social context of bullying impacts later suicidal ideation. If I want to follow this path, how do I look at it? So the response on the table is a panel study, which is panel data, right? Panel data captures the same group of people over time. So it may be a survey. It may be a survey where we're able to actually ask young children about experiences with bullying, right? Younger children. It is very difficult to do research on young kids. It has been done. It's difficult because you got to go through lots of permissions. And then we survey them again, right, as teens. And then maybe we survey them again as adults. So we can't just theorize and throw around ideas about what we think is happening in the life course. We will actually need the kind of data that allows us to trace people's stories. Right? Now, when we talk about panel data, we're talking about usually big survey projects that capture thousands of Americans over their lives. But isn't there another way? Because like Reed says, this is going to be expensive. This is costing you millions and millions of dollars. Let me know when we need to. We're good? I have a film director back there, by the way. What's another way to find out about this process? Yeah, we might ask retrospectively, right? We might ask people in a cross-sectional study, what